Welcome to the Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. As the nation's first community college, JJC has been making history since 1901. With more than 70,000 alumni, we have an endless supply of stories to share. Listen in to find out how deep our alumni's JJC roots go and how far they've been able to branch out into our community and beyond. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us for the Season 2 finale of the Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. I don't know how another year has gone by, but here we are. As I was thinking about who I wanted to feature for this episode, today's guest came to mind immediately and for a multitude of reasons. For starters, she's heavily involved in our community, and whether it's at a charity function or a chamber event or an educational collaboration, odds are you're going to see her there. And she's also deeply passionate about the work that she does and is one of the biggest cheerleaders I know for JJC. And so with that, I am thrilled to introduce to you today's guest, Kayla Sorensen, who is the Vice President of External Affairs for the Will County Center for Economic Development. Kayla, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a wonderful honor, so I am so excited to be here. Thank you.
I mean, already you can hear like your excitement and passion, but before we get into all the amazing stuff you're doing in the CED, let's first go back in time and kind of start at the beginning. What was it that led you to JJC in the first place?
Yeah, of course. So, very beginning, born and raised Joliet. So, I'm a Joliet girl through and through. And funny enough, Joliet Junior College is actually closer to my home than my high school was. So, as I was looking to graduate from Joliet West, from my Tigers out there, really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my future, I wanted to go to school for. And as that process came along, JJC was more and more the obvious choice for me for many different reasons in my life. I truly didn't know exactly what career path I wanted to go down. JJC was a great option to explore classes, explore careers, that sort of thing. I have a little sister. She was only 2 at the time, so being home and close to her and close to family was really, really important. And so ultimately, that was the best decision for me. Even though I did in my senior year of high school, everyone wants to go away to school. They want to do all these big things at big universities. But sitting down and actually having an honest conversation with myself that Joliet Junior College, by far, for the class sizes, for the curriculum, for the price, for location, everything, it really was ultimately the absolute best choice for me. So 2012, fall of 2012, started at Joliet Junior College.
And what was the vibe like here? Like, what was your campus experience like when you were a student?
Yeah, so I was fortunate to be able to take classes during the day and night classes. So the campus was always bustling and busy. Loved sitting on the bridge, of course, like every other student. But I knew a lot of people growing up in this area, a lot of other students that I would either go to school with at Joliet West or played softball with growing up or in church with growing up. Like, you saw all these people. So it felt so familiar and almost like a second home eventually, right?
Yeah.
And so the campus was always fun and bustling. I really enjoyed being on campus and going to classes in J building and sitting on the bridge and just that whole experience.
Yeah, I was teaching English night classes at that time. Wouldn't that have been so funny if you would have made it into my class? We probably crossed paths in the evening. There's not a lot of people bopping around here in the evening time, so we probably walked past each other.
We probably did, and it's so funny now, fast forward for almost 15 years, oh my gosh, that's insane to say, that people that were at JJC then, working there, have now, been promoted and transitioned into different roles, and now I get to work with them in different ways, and it's like, the career paths for JJC employees as well is a whole other conversation that we can have, that they stay, they love their time there. And same with you as well. And so it's full circle.
It really, really is. And there's so many stories like that because we've had so many of our current alumni who are employees right now just really talk about their experience here as a student and how it led them back, even after they went on to a 4-year, which you did too. So yes. You got your JJC experience, you saved money with the tuition, and you had a great time here. And then you transferred to Northern Illinois University, correct?
Yes, and actually, part of when I talk to other students or people that are considering JJC, your career center and advisors and things did such a wonderful job in helping set me up for success on my next path. I was actually between several different schools, and sitting down and looking at what credits transferred to which schools and staying in state and at a state university as well.
Yeah.
Everything transferred. Every single credit transferred to Northern Illinois. It was, again, the next best choice for me in my education path, but so incredibly helpful when they know students are leaving JJC. You're going to graduate. You're going to go on. How do we set you up for success at the next place? And that was another cost savings, right? Like I didn't have to retake any classes or anything when I went on to Northern Illinois.
Well, you kind of just set me up for my next question there, because I did want to talk a little bit about that, because I don't know that we share enough about just how amazing the transfer process is from here. And really how you said that you were one of those kids coming out of high school and you thought like, oh, I want to be going away, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But do you think that having stayed at home and going to JJC set you up for better success once you got to Northern?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I still got that full college experience. I got to live on campus in a dorm for 1 year. I got to join Greek life and go live in a sorority house. And I know that's not everybody's path, but I knew that I always wanted that experience. And so saving money, getting that college experience, getting some of those college credits, and having an understanding of the classwork and the load that you have to handle with working and being a part-time student or full-time student helped completely set me up for success when I was on my own and everything else. So yes, 100%. And JJC definitely set me up for the education side of things and, ultimately saving so much money, but also setting me up with how to handle my course load and things too.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like you were heavily involved in college, which I find is no surprise given how heavily involved you are now. But what led you to your first career? Like, how did you know that like public service was something that you wanted to do?
this is a great JJC story that I think I've shared with you before, but for your audience members. So, again, graduated high school, not entirely sure what I wanted to do with career. For the longest time, I was like, oh, I'm going to go into criminal justice. I would love to be a police officer, a detective, which many people don't know that. I thought about, various other things. But ultimately, when I started at Joliet Junior College, I needed a part-time job. It was time. I had played softball all through high school, and that was the end of the road for that. So you got it. It's time to find a job. And so Joliet Junior College had a great resource. It's probably called something different now. I think it was called like Career Center or College Central or something then. And ultimately, employers could look for JJC students that were looking for internships, part-time jobs, that sort of stuff. And it was really great. You filled out your information and it built a resume for you. And so fast forward, I was connected with a local state senator's office. Senator Pat McGuire, who is the absolute best. State Senator Pat McGuire was looking to hire a part-time intern or, employee in their office with their district director, Robin Goulding, and reached out, ended up getting the interview. And at the time, I probably, like a lot of other people, didn't even know who our state legislators were. Yeah. And so this opened up a whole new world and understanding of what public service is and how, you can serve the public as a police officer, as a nurse, as a doctor, as all of these things, but public service can also mean your legislature, your nonprofits, different things like that. And so that office introduced me to the world of supporting our constituents and supporting people in need and just our residents in a totally different way in our community. So being a community resource. So that one resource at JJC, I give so much credit to that, to my entire career, and fast forward 15 plus years, what I'm doing now.
I love that. It's our career services office still does that for students all the time and helping them. And they've already reached out to my daughter who's starting in the fall to start helping her build her career path so that at her time here at JJC, they can potentially link her up with an internship or opportunities in her field. They're just so proactive in helping students. So I love, especially where you are now, just knowing that JJC ended up being a resource after college and was still able to get you to the next step in your career.
A resource for students, but also that resource for a local business, local industry which we can talk internship program later on, but being that connector. And that's how JJC serves in so many different ways. But really, a local legislator's office where do I turn to hire somebody? You guys served in that capacity, helping a local business, local organization, but also supporting a student that's looking to stick around here and get a part-time job that's meaningful and whatnot too. So it's just amazing how you all continue to do that even today.
Well, I think it's safe to say then that having that experience really is what just led you to Will County CED. That was just, it seemed like a good fit after working in that area of public service.
Yeah, absolutely. So worked for State Senator Pat McGuire, State Representative Larry Walsh Jr., former State Senator Jennifer Bertino Tarrant. At one time, I was working at all three offices, which was really funny when people would call in, like, didn't I just talk to you at the other one? So
I didn't know you did all
I
three at one
at
time.
one time I was like Tuesday, Thursday at one, Monday, Wednesday at another, and then Fridays. It was kind of crazy, but it was amazing to work in three different legislator offices and districts and things. But then fast forward working for the Illinois State Senate in Springfield, and then ultimately with Governor Pritzker's office. And so in many different legislative capacities in public service, definitely was full circle and connects really well to economic development and kind of my role here at the CED.
Yeah, so for those that don't know what the Will County Center for Economic Development does, can you just explain a little bit about what your office does for the community?
Yeah, that's my whole job. So, the Will County Center for Economic Development, we are a nonprofit organization that represents all of Will County. Our entire mission, in a nutshell, we say, is to improve the quality of life of all of the residents that call Will County home. And we do that by working to attract new businesses and new investment to Will County, whether that's, like I said, brand new businesses, expanding current businesses, also helping to retain our current businesses. And so when we talk about economic development, businesses, when they look to move to a new location or things, there's so many factors that play into that. Is there a strong educated workforce? Well, you guys talk a lot about workforce. Are there good transportation assets? Do we have great roads and bridges? Do we have housing for those employees? Do we have means for services and things to be able to get to and from places? Healthcare. All of those things tie into one another to support why a business wants to attract here. And so we work really hard to maintain relationships with every different type of organization, and then also just market Will County as a premier place to do business, live, work, play, all of those things. And so my role here at the CED is external affairs. So working with organizations like JJC and all of our investors, and then just the greater community on being a resource to one another. Like, a new business comes here, okay, who do I need to know here? How can you help problem solve here? We really are the problem solvers at the end of the day for a lot of things, but just wanting to be a good resource. So kind of tying back to those legislative days and those constituent days where, people call in with issues, being that source of information for people and businesses and things.
Well, I definitely think that you're made for this role because really when it comes down to it, though, it is all about connection. You cannot do your job and not be out in the community and making meaningful connections with people and not just have everything feel like a business transaction. That's something that's always like so important in all of our jobs.
Yeah.
And what we do is just to not make it like, oh, this is a partnership that just should happen, but like really finding ways to collaborate, really finding ways to help support each other and grow each other's missions and purposes. And I think that you and your whole office just do such a fabulous job with that. And now I want to talk about your passion project because it's actually like an award-winning, right, project.
We have won one award at least, but have been recognized at several conferences and at several different things on what we are building here with, I'm guessing, the Will County Summer Internship Program.
That is it. Yes.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about, from like the concept, even how did this come about and, how did you launch it?
Absolutely. So the Will County Summer Internship Program, for those that don't know, the Will County CED is a hub for data and things. And so when looking at demographics and how people shift and things, what we found is that students, they graduate from high school and they leave. They leave for several years, that 18 to 30 range or so, and they don't come back until their early 30s when they are looking to settle down, have a family. They're migrating to bigger cities, universities, things like that. And again, don't come back until their early 30s. And part of that is due to not understanding the careers and the opportunities that are here in Will County. And so what we decided to do is launch what's called the Will County Summer Internship Program as a way to connect high school students to local employers, paid internships during the summer. And we actually got to give credit to Grundy County as well. They have had a very similar program for many years and helped get our program off the ground. And then, man, our program has just absolutely exploded. And so year one, we worked with Joliet Township High School, and we were able to connect 38 students to paid internships in the community. JJC being one of our wonderful employers, which I could tell a
That is amazing.
success story about that in just a moment. Fast forward to year two, we expanded the program, and the goal was always to expand the program countywide. We knew we needed to start small, so we started with JT. Again, shout out to Dr. Carla Guzman for being our guinea pig there, but she and her team were absolutely wonderful in getting this off the ground and providing that credibility to the CED when connecting with high school students. And we came in with the employer credibility, and then, the school was fully supportive. Fast forward to year two, we expanded to 8 high schools, and now year three, we're at 15. Next year, we'll be at 16. And so over the course of 3 years, we have placed 240 students in paid internships.
Amazing.
What also the amazing part of it is taking a look at the impact of the salaries that the students have earned over the course of those 3 years. It's nearly $1 million.
Oh my.
And so when you talk about supporting students, supporting local businesses, and then giving that money reinvested into the community, it's absolutely wonderful. So lots of success stories that have come from it, but it's been incredible to see the impact that this program has had on our students, but then also on the employers. Kind of back to what I was mentioning with JJC earlier, being that resource for businesses, but for students. If not for this program, an employer might not have launched a high school internship program. A lot of businesses, a lot of organizations wouldn't even think twice about a high school student. And now this opportunity to let the CED kind of help serve as that recruitment partner has made such a difference in some of these employers too, that have come back year after year too.
Yeah. And now that you've launched this, I mean, you're in year 3, I think you can confidently explain, why do you think these internships are so important for students as they prepare for the workforce? What are you seeing now from that?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, students are gaining that real world experience. And even before they actually get their internship, several of them are going, they're receiving multiple interviews. They're getting that interview experience. They're learning about how to prep a resume, how to prepare for an interview, how to write a cover letter. Those are career building skills. Yeah, you got to learn it now, but you're going to be using it for years to come, right? But then they're also figuring out what they want to do. Maybe this is solidifying, I want to go into healthcare. I want to go into public service. And we've heard that time and time again. But this is also an opportunity to figure out what you don't want to do, right?
Oh, 100%.
Before
Yeah.
you go away to school and spend money on a 4-year degree, you hear that from so many people. Hey, I don't use my degree, right? This is an opportunity to just test the waters in some spaces too, and see if this is a career field. And, we've had several students that have been hired on full time afterwards, or they've come back year after year. Actually, I could talk about Byron. Byron was an intern in our very first year with Joliet Junior College, came back for year 2. Fast forward, now he's a JJC student. He's student trustee. He is the prime.
I was gonna bring him up, so I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's just such a wonderful success story. I mean, he took the opportunity. He's done it himself. We're able to be that connector, right? It's all him being an absolutely amazing student and things. But we've seen that time and time again where, one more example is a student was working at one of our local organizations called Jackson Generation, engineering internship, 40 hours a week, $25 an hour for a high school student. Fast forward, they were able to connect him with another organization who is now hired him full-time and paying for all of his classes through the Cranes program, I believe, or the AIM program at JJC. It's just amazing.
It is amazing. Hundreds of high school kids, you are helping get a paying job. Let's just start there at the bottom level. These are paying internships for these kids, giving them opportunities to explore what they're interested in, what they're not interested in.
Yeah.
But for the businesses and the companies that get to start their first internship program or hire these amazing students, they're also giving a look at hey, look, isn't it great to work here? Wouldn't you want to come back here? And they're bringing people back. Byron is a perfect story because it was had he not had that internship experience, would his path have been the same? I mean, or would we not have been as lucky enough then at JJC to have him here? And so it's just amazing.
Ultimately, we're still working on, we're only in year 3, is that this is a tool to retain students, right? Maybe he would have gone to a university away and maybe he would have stayed away. But we're hopeful that introducing students to careers and things here, there are statistics that show, students that are interns end up staying on and have higher retention rates as well. So we're trying our best to keep up on where students are going and things like that. But we're hopeful that introducing those students early on, that they want to stick around here and have a little bit more pride to stay home and stay connected to Will County.
I love that. Now, as someone who's experienced JJC as a student and then now collaborates with the college professionally, what do you think makes JJC just such a valuable asset to Will County and sort of our broader region?
Absolutely. Well, for so many different reasons.
Yeah, that was a big question.
Yeah, this definitely. So, for businesses and for students. So, yeah, I mean, I've talked about the impact that it's had on me as a student, the connections. I mean, and it's about students taking advantage of those resources too. But they're all available and they're absolutely wonderful. But then the impact that you guys have on the broader region, from an economic development standpoint, we talk about workforce and making sure that our businesses have the resources to, or the access to, employees, right? We have a talent pool. We have the people. Are they trained? And for our manufacturing jobs, are they trained for our nursing jobs? And JJC does such a wonderful job in maintaining that and making sure that, they're trained for today, but then also what's coming up, what other, what careers are on the horizon. And so that's part of why businesses recruit here, right? Making sure that the programs, not just your 2-year programs, but your technical training programs, are here to support businesses. And so often we might be talking to a business, hey, we're recruiting from a school up in Michigan, right? Well, why are you doing that? Let's talk to JJC and see if we can create that here. And it's happened multiple times that we can establish that here. And so being supportive to students, but then also the business community, is essential for workforce and for you guys and for everything.
Full circle,
it's
right?
full circle. So, but being such a key partner, but being able to be collaborative and flexible and creative when it comes to programming and training programs and things like that. Absolutely.
That's a great answer. See,
Thanks.
You're the JJC cheerleader. You know how to answer these questions. I do have one more thing I want to ask you about the internship program. How do students get involved with that? Is it through their high school? Is it through you? Like, if someone's listening and they think like, oh my gosh, I would love for my high school student to get involved in this program, how does that work?
Absolutely. So right now, like I had mentioned, we had started with Joliet Township High School and then have expanded. So they have to be a partner high school with us. So as of right now, let me make sure I get everybody. Joliet Township, Lockport Township High School, any Plainfield school, Lincoln Way, JCA, Providence, Bolingbrook, Romeoville, which is Valley View, and then next year we're adding Neuqua Valley High School. So if a student attends, has to be a current student, even rising senior this year, they can apply to the program. And so what we will do is in August through November, we'll really be recruiting employers. And then come December, applications will open for the high school students to apply. And it's essentially a job board on the Will County CED website where students can view all of the jobs and then they can apply to one, they can apply to 50 jobs if they want to. But what should be happening, what does happen, not should be, is that we at the CED work directly with each of those school districts. And so administrators at those schools will be sharing that information out to students, to counselors, to parents, to everybody. So all of the students that attend any of those high schools should be hearing about the program. And then they'll have till about February to apply. And so last year alone, we had a few thousand applications. So it's a very competitive program, but I encourage students to apply to more than one position because, there's a multitude of industries, from public service to, education, to our hospitals. We have nonprofit organizations. The YMCA is a great example, just all across the board. So we encourage students to apply to as many as possible because some positions might get 2 applications and some might get 50. And while it can be competitive, it's just a great learning experience. So we encourage students to apply to as many as possible.
I will make sure too that I link to your website just for more information and that people can go to find out more about it. But what an incredible thing that you guys are doing, and the fact that you're already on year 3 and have gone extended to hundreds. I remember when we first had you on the Roots and Branches during our video series, this was kind of just getting off the ground. And now look at your wonderful success. And it's because you play a very large part in this with the way that you connect with people and the way that you connect, especially with students. I see your passion with them, and you're always so proud when I see your stuff posted on LinkedIn. I mean, you're just a wonderful advocate for what you do. You're a wonderful advocate for JJC and all the future wolves. And okay, I got to go a little personal note. You're going to have your own future wolf soon, right? You're having your first baby, and I'm just so excited for you. And I wanted the baby to have a shout out on the podcast.
Yes, you were kind enough to give me a little future wolf stuffed animal, and it is in his room right now. So he will be here this fall. So keep.
I love that.
But some of our interns got to work on the Future Wolves program just a few years ago and getting that off the ground. So, there's a CED tie back. But I do just want to give a shout out to the entire team here at the CED and our investors and our board of directors and things. Like, so many are so dedicated to the mission of the CED and advocate so hard for us. So it is love the community connections that I can make, but the reputation of this organization for over 40 plus years has really helped establish this program. And, so many of our organizations are in full support of all that we do. So it makes selling the internship program in the CED that much easier, but it really is everyone's effort to help this. But you got to have a cheerleader too.
And that's what makes you a great person, is just like always recognizing the team that's involved in making these things happen. Because it takes a team, but it also takes a really great leader, and they're so lucky to have you. I was so lucky to have you on today.
That was the fastest half hour.
I know. I told you. It's because we have so much to talk about all the time. And I always wrap up these sessions by just letting you give a little advice to a future wolf or somebody that might be like you coming out of high school and really wasn't sure what to do. What is your advice?
Oh, my advice: take advantage of all the resources that are available to you. Advisors, career centers, mentors, bouncing ideas off of those people that are closest to you as well about careers or, what things to be involved in. Like, just take advantage of everything that you can, because you never know what doors those opportunities can lead to. So yeah, all the resources. They're there to help you. So
excellent advice. And you know what? I really feel like season 2 of this podcast has been all about resources and connection. And to the college, it seems like that everyone who's been able to come and be on the show with us this past year has really talked about just all the ways that JJC extends so far beyond our walls. And then how it always ties and brings everybody back in. It's kind of been a full circle for a lot of people. And I'm just so appreciative that I could have you on the season 2 finale. So Kayla, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. Yep. Proud JJC alum and love being on campus and everything. So I'm very honored to be on here today with you. So thank you so much.
And to all of our listeners, thanks not only for listening today, but for our whole second season. And make sure that you don't miss season 3 when we kick off next month. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Roots and Branches JJC Alumni Podcast. For more episodes, information, foundation events, and ways to give or get involved, visit jjc.edu/alumni.